I am on Crystal Desert. Except Scourge. Fuck these guys. Scourge, you can deal with Scourge. Have fun on a point with them, but yeah, you can deal with Scourge. But no, Spellbreaker is... The only reason why it feels oppressive and why it feels broken right now is because people haven't learned to fight it. It's only been like a week since it came out. There's no way people are used to fighting Spellbreakers right now. Or by now. It's all it takes is just more practice. Just fight as many Spellbreakers as you can. Don't sit there and bitch about it. Fight them. Learn how they work. And over time, as you learn the different things warriors do, or Spellbreakers do, as you learn the tells, as you learn what daggers do, as you learn what the typical build has at its disposal, you will get better at fighting them, and they will not see as ridiculous. Even full counter does not hit where you still get resistance to other stuff. That's traits. That's different. Okay, now things I could see getting nerfed, things that I could see on Spellbreaker getting nerfed, and that I will concede might be a little too good right now. Enchantment Collapse, I could see this getting toned down. Where is that? Break Enchantments. I could see this getting toned down. I could see Revenge Counter getting toned down. Like, those three, yeah, sure, I can see a case being made for it. I guess if people whine enough, maybe Full Counter might get a slight bump in cooldown. Like, slight bump up. It might be slightly longer. Or it might have its damage reduced by a bit. I don't think Full Counter is the problem. At all. I think it's just people aren't used to fighting it, and people are lazy with their reactions, and they proc it, and then they get hit, and they get punished for their own mistakes. They're getting punished by the very design of Spellbreaker. It's gonna seem oppressive because that's the whole design of Spellbreaker. I could see Revenge Counter getting toned down maybe a little bit, because yeah, 20% damage increase on what already hits like a truck it's a lot. Maybe the condition copy, maybe the resistance. I could see it getting toned down a bit. Enchantment Collapse, I could see it getting maybe toned down on a number of targets, or maybe having a cooldown. Break Enchantment's probably damage decrease in some form or another, or maybe a cooldown increase. But like, it's... Of all of the things that they could nerf on Spellbreaker, of all of the things that I would consider making it so strong right now, Full Counter is not the problem. Not the problem as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. What's my preferred Warrior Elite specialty? Spellbreaker. Absolutely Spellbreaker. Hands down. Caliber. It is my playstyle pretty much to a T. The very aggressive, high reactivity, you know, counterplay type playstyle. It's just fun. It's really fast-paced, and I can react to things with tools. I like my reaction and you know, blocking of people's attacks at the right moments, being rewarded. That's what I love. That's what I really like. 5-man boomerang plus slow, plus tons of damage, plus 2 active defense abilities makes it... Okay, guys, if you are... Okay, that's not Full Counter. Turk, that's not Full Counter being the problem there. That's this line of traits. That's not Full Counter you're having an issue with. That's Warriors taking Guard Counter plus Slow Counter plus Revenge Counter. That's Warriors making Full Counter crazy. No, it's not Full Counter being the problem there. It's the traits. Don't blame Full Counter for what the traits are doing. Let's see. Let's see. And again, Turk, like, it's an adaptation thing. Give it some time. Wait for other people to you know, get used to it. Wait for other people to figure out how to do it, and then go based off of their advice. Go based off of their experiences and whatnot. I would say best option is to just fight it a lot. Just keep fighting Spellbreak. Don't focus on, oh my god, this is so overpowered, and focus on, how can I beat this? How can I beat this? Don't focus on, oh, all this stuff is bullshit. Oh, it's not fair. It should be nerfed. Don't focus on that. Don't get in that mentality. Put yourself in the mentality of, okay, this is what it does. How do I beat it? Don't focus on the full counter. Focus on what are the weaknesses. For example, don't 1v1 a Spellbreaker. That's where they shine. Bring someone else to the fight. It's no different than a bunker build. Just bring someone else to the fight with you. Or set up, say, a ranged build. Or what else could you do? What else is Spellbreaker weakness? Condi bomb him. Condi bomb him, but make sure you don't proc that full counter. Bait out the full counter, and then Condi bomb him. What's another good way? Like, there are ways to deal with Spellbreaker. Still play DDLE, really don't care. Okay, if you're playing DDLE, don't bitch about Spellbreaker. You're asking for pain by taking a DDLE into a Spellbreaker fight. Like, I hope you're not basing all of this on how you feel fighting a Spellbreaker as a DDLE. You're asking for pain fighting a Spellbreaker as DDLE. Any melee build that relies on big hits is asking for pain. Power melee builds, I should add. Take a Condi Thief. Take a Condi Thief in there, you'll be fine. Because you can just evade all of their stuff. You just evade whatever the Spellbreaker does. That's why I put so much power in one skill. Now they just put it between other skills. Well, that's the approach I take, Nyx. I do not do the OP full counter build. I go around. I do this. I do the bottom line. I do these. Because I prefer more of the dagger gameplay. And Mage Bane Tether is really good. Bro Shiba, what up? Welcome. As a price Spencer, Thief is not much fun. Yeah, but that's we're not talking about Thief. We're talking about Spellbreaker, Bro Shiba. And Thieves have always kind of been your bane. But yeah, a Shadow Mesmer could just absolutely delete a Spellbreaker. Absolutely. Fucking Condi Mesmer especially. But yeah, even Power Shatter would be like, oh look, Spellbreaker from my max range, gone. Just deleted. Scourge is another one. It's like, oh, they have to come into melee to fight me. Shades. Oh look, they're dead. Ellie, here, okay. Turk. Fresh air. Fresh air. You have just deleted the Spellbreaker. Okay, passive endure pain is bullshit, yes. But all you gotta do is just bait it. Or not bait it, but proc it. Okay, like, that's not a problem with Spellbreaker. That's a problem with Core Warrior. If I had my way, yes, this would be fucking out of the game. This is a shit trait and promotes bad gameplay. I don't like this trait at all. But, Turk, guess what? It's in the game. We can't do anything about it. We cannot do anything about Defy Pain until we remove it. We have to deal with it. As shitty as it is, as much, as bad of gameplay as we get with having this trait in here, it's in. There's no sense bitching about something we can't change. Other than what's already been said. Like, and it's aware. People don't like this trait. But they haven't removed it yet, so we're stuck with it. I mean, you just play around it like you play around any other build that uses it. It's not a Spellbreaker thing, it's a Warrior thing. Like, you have to proc it and then play around it. Again, if you're playing DDLE, like, you're gonna have to deal with it. It's new, yeah, it's new proofing Warrior. I agree. It's not a healthy trait to have in the game. I agree 100%. This trait needs to go, but it's still in the game. Yeah, Ruby Sound. I have a lot of music from all over the place, bro. To give you an idea of what I run, Turk, I don't run that passive bullshit. I don't run any defensive traits in PvP. In fact, here, let me go to PvP and show you exactly what I run. Right here. I do not run defense. I do not run passive interpain. I do not run regular interpain, for that matter. I do run stances because they're kind of necessary for survival. But here's what I run for the Spellbreaker build I use. Oops. There. Okay. Stances I run are Balance Stance and Berserker Stance. Because I don't want to deal with Condies, and Spellity is really nice because of all the CC spam. But other than that, I don't run defense at all. I do not run really any passive anything that isn't somewhat tied to active gameplay. This is active. This is active. I mean, it's kind of passive, but at the same time, like, I need to interrupt people. I need to interrupt people. Well, I guess I don't need to interrupt, but it's on one skill. This is passive, but it's not defensive. Passive-ish. Okay, so when I say I don't run any passive, like, there are passive traits all over the game. I can't help running them, but I don't run any defensives. I don't run any defensive traits, anything. I fucking dunk people with this build. I run Zerker Amulet. Jerk. It's all might all the time. If I had my way, warriors would not be able to run this. This would not be a thing. But, again, it's in the game. We have to deal with it. Might Makes Right is amazing. Yes, I love Might Makes Right. And because it is the game, and because most warriors are not like me, you're gonna run into it. You will run into warriors who run Defy Pain. Most warriors will run it. I've noticed the trend with Spellbreakers too. They run defense, discipline, and Spellbreaker because it's the safe option. It's the safe build. Because they know that they can survive for fights. They can survive fights for longer than if they didn't run it. And they rely on Defy Pain, and thereby they become lazy in their gameplay. And they rely on Shield Block. Oh, the Shield Block is active. Why the hell in the world? Because I don't need it. I don't need Heal Sig. I've tried Heal Sig with this build, and it feels bad. Okay, Hifaro, it's not my fault ANET has a fuck ton of passives in the warrior trees. It's not my fault. No, Tarek, I don't run Heal Sig because this is a build where I don't need it. It doesn't feel good to have it. I would much rather have the big heal on natural healing and the big old Condi cleanse. And like the boons, the only boons this build has is Might and Fury and a little bit of Swiftness. I mainly use it because it's a big heal and it's kind of removable. But like, this is the thing, Turk. You have to, you can't, you don't, let me start over. It is not a good mentality to put yourself in to see something and just criticize it forever and not adapt. Like, you can like criticize things, absolutely. Like, if something's not to your liking or something is wrong, call it out, absolutely, and say it's wrong for XYZ reasons, whatever. Yes, but don't stop there. I see a lot of people they stop after that. They're like, this is bad, blah 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 blah. I don't like it, or like, this is terrible design, blah blah blah, and they stop there and they just whine and they bitch and they do nothing to change their own experiences with that thing. And that's where you need to move beyond that. Don't sit there and bitch about Defy Pain, because you will have to deal with Defy Pain regardless of whether you like it or not. No matter how much you bitch about it, Defy Pain will still be there at the end of the day. So what you have to do is you have to learn how to deal with it. You have to learn how to bait it. You have to learn how to proc it. You have to learn how to somehow remove it as an obstacle. If that means relying on a teammate, do it. Just, if it means not fighting the warrior at all during a match, so be it. Just, you have to move beyond whining about something and figure out how to beat it. Yeah, Turk, I am telling you to adapt. I don't fucking care if you're using a build from before hot. If you aren't willing to change your build, then you're gonna keep having the problems you're having. You need to change, you need to adapt. Otherwise you'll be stuck. And sure, bitch until your face is blue, but it's not gonna change your experience if you don't adapt. That's what I'm saying. By all means, continue to run Dagger Elementals. Continue to have problems with full counter and Defy Pain because your build is not equipped to deal with those. By all means, continue. But you're not gonna have it get fixed if you don't change your own build. The definition of madness is continuing to do the same thing and expecting different results. That's all I got for you, Turk. Don't bitch about Spellbreaker when you're not willing to adapt to what Spellbreaker has and find a way to deal with it. Your game name is Crazy Nuts Man. All right, let's see. Okay, press Y. Crazy. Press Y and tell me what the name with the numbers here is. If you give me that, I can add you to the guild. Why all the classes have adapted to Necron Warrior? Because, I don't know. We have to adapt to other classes as well. Kill Cannon went up, though. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, no matter how fucking bullshit broken something is, or how garbage design or whatever something is, until the designers, until the developers actually go and change it, you're stuck with it. The only people who are actually in a position to see something, say it's not working or whatever, and have the power to change it are the developers themselves. And until they do something about it, we're stuck with it. Let's see. You know, it takes really long to make changes. Yeah, they do. Pretty Poison's welcome. It's like that one streamer who plays nothing but Circle Range and spends 5 hours every night defaming Arena but refuses to adapt. People, I mean, yeah, it's a mentality thing. I've seen it everywhere, and it's not just specific to games. I see it in life. Like, people are stubborn. People don't want to change. It's the path of least resistance is to sit there and whine about something, as opposed to putting in the effort to change themselves to overcome that obstacle, to overcome that problem. And trust me, it takes effort. Trust me, I have to put in a lot of energy to not fall into that trap myself. But I still put in the energy to do so, and I find success because of it. Because of the energy I put in to adapt to things and overcome obstacles and challenges, I find success. It's not easy, but it's there. At the end of the day, it's people throwing fits and not getting their way in the video. Yeah, I mean, get him in. Problem is, you can't survive PvP with other builds. Okay, what is that based on, Turk? When you say you can't survive in PvP with other builds, if you want to play an alley. What is that based on? Is that based on your experiences? Is that based on other people's experiences? Like, you have to be willing to try. If you've literally exhausted every other possible every other possible option, and you've researched, you know, as many builds as you possibly can, and you've watched as many streamers, and you've done all this stuff, then sure. If you've had the experience of testing literally everything you have available and every combination of everything available to you as an Ellie, sure. But I find that kind of unlikely. Guild invites. Alright, I have sent you an invite, Crazy. It should be one for Wandering Order. If you press G, you'll open up your guild tab. And there should be an invite towards the bottom that says invite. You got it. Yeah, there you go. Turk, it might be a case where you're just so used to things that work or worked that you're not opening up thoughts to other ways of playing Ellie or other possible things that you could do to deal with those situations. Yeah, I can absolutely see Ellie's getting fucking dumped on by Necro Condi, especially because of the conversions. And I can definitely see Ellie's getting bursted by thieves, but at the same time, have you explored other options? Have you explored ways to deal with those? Have you directly tackled those and considered what you can do not just by yourself, but with your team, to overcome those? Okay, here's the thing, Kirk. Meta battle is not the end-all be-all. I have a build, a Spellbreaker build, that works wonders, that more than likely is not on meta battle. And if it is on meta battle, it's probably not meta. Meta battle is a good starting place. Meta battle is a good platform for getting an idea, for maybe if you're learning a new class and you don't know where to start. It's a good platform to jump off. However, it is not the de facto source for every possible good thing you can have for every class in PvP or what have you. You have to be able and you have to be willing to think outside the box. You have to be willing to get creative. If you notice certain things are giving you problems, don't be afraid to deviate from what meta battle says. Don't be afraid to, experiment. You have to be willing to lose to succeed. That's what I'm crazy. Well, Turk, I don't know why we have to take this offline, because I think this is valuable advice for a lot of people. I think this is valuable advice for a lot of people. I'm not bullying you. I'm not saying, oh, you're a stupid person. I'm counter-arguing the point you're making. That's it. I mean no disrespect to you with what I'm saying. This is purely just, I see someone arguing a point, I'm debating the opposite. No, Turk, I've played Ellie. I'm aware of what you guys have as tools. The only things I don't know are Weaver stuff, because that's brand new. But I know what you have. You job at Arena, so it won't suddenly make you bounce master. Well, there's that too. Here, I can get on my Ellie. I can get on my Ellie for you. Where are you? Where are you hiding? There you are. Especially finding fun when certain streamers pretend they have a degree in computer science, think it's easy creating digital products. Oh god, armchair developers. Armchair developers. I try to not do that. There's a reason why I'll bring up problems, but I don't try to design new things, because I know I have neither the capability nor the power to do so. I suggest things, but I don't say it should be this way, it should be that way, blah blah blah. I try and avoid that, because I'm not a developer. I understand there are things in development that are outside the control of people. Eduardo and Sound, thank you guys for the follows, by the way, much appreciated. Let's see. Kurname, are you Turk? Let's see. Game is a team game, class-based game. Every class has strengths and weaknesses. Your class may not have answers fighting X-class with Y abilities. That's just part of the game. Instead of complaining about it, you look past those weaknesses. Okay, that is you, Turk. All right. Avoid the situation where they can be exploited and play your strengths. Get your teammates to shore them up with their own. Yeah, exactly. Like, it is a team game. From US. Yes, I am from US. Yes. And Turk, I'm not angry either. I'm not, like, getting worked up. I'm trying to make my point as clear as possible. And, like, it may seem like I'm getting tense, but I'm not. I'm just trying to make things as clear as possible. Spellbreaker is minus 1v1. If you are a good survivable 1v2, just don't 1v1. You should be fine. Try not to activate full counter if possible. If dodge won't interrupt you. There's a lot of people playing Spellbreaker. A lot of them are bad in PvP. Seems a lot of are just AFKing in a node, dying 2 seconds out number fight and goes on. With Adaptation. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Eduardo, was it's just people haven't gotten used to Spellbreaker yet, and you have a lot of warriors who are taking the safe option and running super passive garbage with all the tools that Spellbreaker has, and people aren't used to that, and it's causing people problems because they're not used to it. Main uses Ellie's have to okay. But they don't, Turk. Ellie's don't have to play support. They don't have to bunker. I know you know what fresh air is. Have you ever watched Phantom? Turk, have you ever watched what Phantom does? Like, Phantom makes damage Ellie great. He deletes people. You do not have to play Selly Dagger Dagger, which doesn't exist anymore, but you don't have to play defensive, you don't have to play support. You can play damage Ellie. You just have to be willing to. You have to, it's a different playstyle. Fresh Air Ellie is completely different from a lot of other Ellie types. Let's see. Except when we have 2 good Spellbreakers on the account. Well, yeah, but that would apply to anything, Eduardo. 2 good players on the other team, as opposed to a bunch of bad players, like, they're gonna steamroll regardless of what they're playing. And yeah, Fana is a great player. Yes, absolutely. But at the same time, he is just another player. What differentiates him from, say, a bad Ellie is experience and willingness to adapt. And maybe mechanical skill to some point, but like, it's mostly mental. It's mostly like, what's going through his head? What decisions is he making? What thought went into his build? Like, he's no superhuman. He just knows what he's doing. Is Hellseth another? Yeah, Hellseth's another player, but he's Mesmer. At the same time, it's kind of the same thing. What applies to Fana applies to Hellseth. Like, if anything, Turk, talk to Fana. Fana's a really friendly guy. Like, I've talked to him in person. He's a really chill guy. He's really friendly. He's perfectly happy to help out. Just talk to him. Ask him, like, hey, I want to try and deal with Spellbreakers. I want to try and deal with Scourges. I want to try and deal with Thieves. How do you do it? What should I do to overcome these challenges? Like, it's like, learn, like, look around for information. Community on Twitch is a bad mindset because of Luga spewing false information. Use platform to scream and rage about Arena. Guy refuses to change. Guy subject brought up tonight. I think we all have seen the aids on Twitch. Twitch is late. Like, I don't like slamming other streamers because, like, they're doing what I do. They're just streaming gameplay and whatnot to you guys. I let you guys have your own opinions and whatnot of other streamers. I just stay out of it. I've dealt with the whole streamer to streamer drama before, and I don't want to do it again. If you guys, yeah, like, if you guys feel Beluga is spewing false information as you speak and whatnot. That's all you guys. That's all between you and him. Whatever. But yeah, he just like anyone else who plays the game. We're all players, and all players are all human, and therefore we all have opinions. We all have different ways of dealing with situations that give us these opinions. Some of us, sit there and, scream and rage about things. Others of us, sit there, try and figure it out and how to adapt and, like, how to overcome it. Like, it's a human problem. It's not unique to Guild Wars 2. It's just Guild Wars 2 is another situation where it manifests. But, yeah, like, brother, I agree that this was a good topic to bring up because I want to remind people that, hey, the option to overcome these things is always there. The option to sit down and look at what's causing problems and adapt is always there. You do not have to sit there and just scream until your face is blue, but still have the same problem exist. You can change, you can adapt, you can overcome things. You just have to be willing to move out of your comfort zone to do so. Like, when I was testing all the Spellbreaker stuff, beta weekend, I was way out of my comfort zone with a lot of those stuff, and I died a lot. Like, we lost games a lot. But, like, I was willing to put forth the effort and take those losses to find builds and find out whether or not stuff worked or not for the Spellbreaker. No different with Berserker. No different with Core Warrior. Like, you just gotta put yourself in a mindset where you're willing to fail in order to find success. And things just get a lot better if you are able to put yourself in that mindset. And putting yourself in that mindset is not easy. Don't make me make it sound like it's easy to put yourself in the mindset. For me, I've done it so much that I'm kind of used to it, and I'm used to dealing with the fallout and the failures that come with experimentation. But like, for someone who's not used to doing that, it's not easy. It's absolutely not easy. So like, I don't blame people for yelling about things and getting angry about all the stuff, but it's like, you're not gonna be able to get past that point if you're not willing to put forth the effort to adapt. And it's just something I remind people all the time. I try and remind people as much as I can. You've got a problem, and you have the power to change it. You have the power to overcome it. But whether or not you do it is up to you. And beyond that point, I can't help you. I can only help you by reminding you that you have the power to overcome it yourself. I can't overcome your problem for you. I can help with like build and playstyle information for like Warrior. I can give advice on how to overcome certain problems that I've already overcome, or I find myself dealing with, but that's as far as I can go. I can't become you and start winning things or start overcoming things. Well, this went on for a long while. I was planning on ending the stream like an hour ago, but no, this is good. I like talking about this stuff. I like bringing this stuff up so it gets people thinking. I don't like it when people get stuck in, when they just get stuck. I don't like it when people get stuck, mired in their own stubbornness, mired in their own comfort zone, for lack of a better word, and just forget that they can move forward. It takes effort. It legitimately takes effort and energy to do this, and it's not. I can't blame people for forgetting it, but I can help them remember that they can move forward. So yeah, I guess going back to the original topic, if you are having trouble fighting Spellbreakers, if you feel they are broken, if you feel they are way too strong for their own good, just look at what's giving you trouble about what Spellbreaker does, and just try and think of ways that you can maybe deal with them. If it's something with your build, check that. If it's something with your playstyle or your gameplay, check that. If it's something with If you feel lost and you're just like, this thing feels like a brick wall, I don't know what to do against it. Talk to streamers, talk to other players in game, talk to people who have fought it and are having success against it, and get information from them, get feedback from them. Hell, talk to people who main, in this case, Spellbreaker, and see what they're doing, and say like, hey, what gives you a lot of trouble? Like, yeah, you're crushing these people, but like, what's giving you problems? Like for me, if I get Condi bombed at the wrong moment, or I get interrupted at the wrong moment, I'm dead. I'm just fucked. Like if my balance stance isn't up, and if I get my stability interrupted, and my full counter is off cooldown, or like I just get interrupted before I can use it, I don't have any stun breaks, I'm dead. Or if it's ranged burst damage, I can't do anything about it because I'm full melee. Like if there's like, for example, if there's a Shadow Mesmer, or even like a Connie Scourge or a Fresher Ellie up on the platforms above midpoint on Forest and Niflhel, I can't do shit. Like I'm sitting there and they can just plink me and blow me up, and I literally can't do anything but either stand there and take it or run away. Like that's one example. Like if you have a lot of range pressure, just find a spot where the Spellbreaker can't get to you. Takashi, what's up, welcome. What do you think about Thief in PvP at the moment? I can really only speak to Spellbreaker, Takashi. And I guess what I fought, a ranged Daredevil gives me trouble. A ranged Daredevil, like, if they're on a perch, it's the same thing. I can't do anything against them. Like, they'll just be able to shoot me for free pressure, and I can't do anything about it. Having a hard time against Spellbreakers. Do you have any tips? Yeah, if you are playing Thief, Takashi, just find a spot where the warrior can't hit you and just fire away. Like, if you're melee, that's a little different. I would say maybe go Condi or something, but like Pistol Pistol Thief, Pistol Pistol Deadeye, just find a platform where the warrior either has to run around you or they just straight up can't get to you, and just fire away. Let's see, Eduardo, I guess we have to give time. Yeah, have to give time to people to adapt. I mean, every time you see Scourge in the other camp, you assume it's Condi. The other night, Nas played Power Scourge and wrecked people for some games until they understand he wasn't playing the OP build. Well, people get used to Spellbreaker Scourge, will be like, yeah, and that's what I've been saying pretty much anytime this topic comes up, Eduardo, is right now, Spellbreaker is going to feel super oppressive because people are not used to fighting it. People have not adapted to it. People have not gotten used to its tells, to its capabilities, to anything like that, to what builds warriors typically use right now. Yeah, it's going to feel super oppressive right now. I completely understand why people feel like Spellbreaker is so broken, because they're not used to what it does. They haven't learned what it does, and Spellbreaker especially is really good at punishing people who don't know how to deal with what it has. But yeah, as people learn how the build works, as people fight more Spellbreakers, as more players roll Spellbreaker, it gives more opportunities for people to learn how to fight it. And over time, just like with any other warrior build, and arguably any other build in general, people will learn how to deal with it. And then eventually, it's not going to be a problem because people will have seen enough of them. Enough of the PvP population will have seen enough Spellbreakers and fought them enough times to know how to deal with them. And then they won't seem as oppressive. Reminds you when